It's another week and another brand new episode on the Granny Panty podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. I'd love for you to follow and see everything Ruby. You can go to RubyLynne, RubyLynne.com, or RubyLynne Links, RubyLynnellinks.com. Also, don't forget, you can follow the Granny Panty podcast on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere there's a podcast. You can also check out our brand new website, thegrannypantypodcast.com. This week's guest is amazing. I had so much fun chatting with her. She's been in the business for 20 years. She started out as an escort receptionist, then transitioned into adult work. She did escorting for many years and enjoyed it, and then transitioned into pro scenes. Now she does OnlyFans and even started her own production company. I can't wait to hear her whole story and how this all evolved. So help me welcome Ava Devine. I am so excited to have you on the show this week. I can't wait to get to know you better. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Ruby. I'm so excited.
So I have been doing some reading about who is Ava Devine.
It's all true. It's all crazy and it's all true.
I love it. I love it. So I want to start by getting to know you. One thing I read is that you've been in this business 20 years.
Yes. My first scene I shot was in 2003.
Wow. That is 20 years in this business is a long time.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful I wasn't eaten up, chewed out, and spit out, you know? I'm glad I'm able to have longevity and have such support from fans and my colleagues. You know, everyone's been great. So I'm super grateful to be here.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk briefly. We won't focus too much, but let's talk about how you got into the business. It seems like were you in stripping first, or did you shoot your first adult scene first?
Okay, well, great. It's a fun story. I started out as a phone girl for an escort service when I was like 18. I got into it somehow through some friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very, very sexual as a teenager. I loved sex. I embraced it. I was very comfortable in my own skin with my sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a phone girl for an escort service for a couple escort services, and one of the owners were like, you're fired from being a phone girl. I want you to start working.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like so excited and so nervous. And I started doing that at a very young age, 19, escorting. Loved it, had a blast, fell in love with like every client. I was so crazy. And so what happened was I was, fast forward years later, I was escorting and I had a great client, and he was like, you know what? I'm not going to see you tomorrow. He was visiting Vegas and he's like, I'm not going to see you tomorrow. I'm like, why? And he's like, because I'm going to see a porn star. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. And he's like, yeah. And he said her name. I don't even remember who it was. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to pay her $1,600, and for the hour. And meanwhile, he's giving me $600. And I was like, wow. Huh. And I'm very fun in the bedroom. Okay. I'm wild. I'm courageous. I'm uninhibited. And I was like I was rocking his world. I was like giving him everything and having fun doing it. And I looked up this girl, and she like gives covered blowjobs, which is fine, but that wasn't my thing. She doesn't do anal. She didn't do anything. And I was like, look at this mother effer. He's, I was like, okay, I'm going to get even. I'm going to get a few titles under my belt, call
Mhm.
myself a porn star, and then charge outrageous rates.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a business decision to start doing
Mhm.
adult films. But I also said to myself, okay, where can I go to have sex with large, well endowed people, bareback? And I was like, I'll do some porn, you know? So it was like,
Mhm.
on one hand, it was a business decision. And on the other hand, it was because I was such a perv and such a freak. Yeah. So I entered the porn business, the porn industry, and loved it. Yeah. It was a natural, like the lights,
Mhm.
camera was on. And my first video was with, I think, Brittany Starr. I don't know if you know her. She's old school porn star. And I think that was my first porn. And
Mhm.
I had so much fun. And then I did Filthy First Timers for Evil Angel in Vegas
Nice.
with Mr. Chris. And they were like blown away because I just took to the camera. No inhibitions. I just had a blast.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, they were really happy with my enthusiasm. And from there, it just took off.
That's awesome. I can tell you're a really fun person. I'm like really drawn to you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think we could get wild.
Totally, but that's what I love. It's like sexually expressing yourself and being in touch with your needs and your wants and your
Mhm.
desires.
When was your last pro scene? When was the last time you filmed a pro scene?
Okay, last time I filmed a pro scene, it was for I think 2 years ago for Brazzers. It was a girl.
Okay.
But before that, I kind of ended my career in 2014.
Mhm.
It was getting a little robotic for me, which I do not like that.
Mhm.
And I started webcamming on the side
Okay.
and doing my own stuff. And that took off very well. I was very accepted by doing a lot of Skype sessions, a lot of video
Okay.
chat, a lot of cam shows, starting to enjoy that and said, you know what, I'm going to take a break from shooting porn. In 2014, I retired from that and I just
Okay.
started and escorting and all that. And I started doing video stuff and
Mhm.
online stuff and fell in love with it. Loved it. I made my own hours. I did it on my
Yeah.
time. And then OnlyFans came out and that went crazy. Love that. And so
Mhm.
right now I have my own production company.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would like to star in everything, of course, because I'm greedy. And yeah, it's really nice to be my own boss.
Right. I was just going to say owning your own content now versus,
Yeah,
a studio owns it and you have zero control.
definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love working for studios because of the marketing aspect,
Mhm. Mhm.
the professionalism. Thank God I never encountered anything nuts or crazy. Everything's always
Good.
safe, wild,
Yay.
fun, good time, consensual, great. It's been superb, but I do prefer being my own boss. And like,
Mhm.
if I want to shoot with someone instead of praying, oh, will the company, put us together, I get to pick
Right.
them. I get to call them and say, do you want to do a content trade or whatever?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. And so it sounds like then your last scene was right around when COVID started,
I think it was a little bit after. I think it was
a little bit
after.
after.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And are you still webcamming?
On OnlyFans, I do live shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I try to put my attention into my OnlyFans because it's just so great with all my fans, my connection.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
try and focus on that. And sometimes I get a little I get distracted easily. So
Okay.
if I'm like streaming over here for StreamMate or ChatterBait or whatever, then
Mhm.
I lose my attention to my OnlyFans. So
Gotcha.
I kind of put everything into OnlyFans right now.
Gotcha. And how often do you go live on your OnlyFans?
I try and do it once a month or,
Okay.
once. every 2 months because I feel that sometimes when I overdo it, when I go on, I love chatting with everyone. Everyone's nuts and hilarious and wild. And, I build relationships with these people. So I know what they like but sometimes I want to I feel like absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Right.
It too often, then I feel like I've noticed for me, the attendance of the fans kind of decline because they're like, well, I'll miss it this week. I can go next week,
Right.
So,
Right.
and you know me, I'm an attention whore, so I need like all the attention. And
Aren't we all? Aren't we all in this business? But you are right because webcam is 40% of my business. 60% is OnlyFans, of course, but you're absolutely right because sometimes the theory is I need more money, so I'm going to go on every single day for 6, 7
yes,
hours. But in reality, I know for my own self, I would find the money would start to dwindle. And
yes,
then if I took a week off, like say I was traveling and then come back, like that first cam show back is going to be killer.
I know. So sometimes absence does make the heart grow fonder.
It's true. And it's a hard mental thing because you think the more I'm out there, the more I'm going to make, which can be true for some people. I just know for me that wasn't the case. And it's really hard to say, okay, I'm going to stay offline
I
because
know. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah.
it's that mental piece.
Yeah. It's like I can't have a conversation with anyone without peeking at my phone or being on my phone. And it's so rude. My poor mother will go to dinner and I'm like on OnlyFans and she's, I'm like, huh, at dinner, and she's like,
Right.
are you even paying attention to what I'm saying? So I feel it's a very bad habit unless I'm with a bunch of friends that are on that are in the industry, because then we're all on our phones at the same time, which is so bad. But yeah.
It is funny how it evolves because my partner, I remember a few years ago, we actually had this little issue where he's like, you're on your phone all the time. You're not paying attention to me. But now that we're business partners and he runs my social media, my Instagrams, now we're both on our phones all the time.
Exactly. And it's like you see the top of their head and you're just like, okay, do your thing,
Right. So your comment brings me to one of the questions I had on my list. Does your family know what you've done in the adult work? So you mentioned your mom.
Yes, my mother does. She's been very supportive ever since I was younger. She's like my best friend. So which could be a con in a sense, but for us and for my mother and I'll just speak about the pros that it served, is that we have a very open relationship and we're like best of friends, and I respect her utterly. But at the same time, she's like my best friend. I could tell her what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, which I feel has been helpful because I'm always in touch with my emotions.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to stuff and hide. But with my father who passed, I didn't tell him anything. He'd be devastated.
Got you. And
But
so all those years, did you just say that you were working in TV or something?
yes, or what? Like I don't even remember what I told him. But yeah, like I'm traveling for business, and I would leave it at that.
Yeah, that's what I tell my dad too. He's
Oh,
81, almost 82, and he's like, "Why are you traveling all the time?" I'm like, "I have a social media management
exactly.
company."
That's the best
He's
line.
81. He doesn't need to
Exactly.
know.
He does not need to know. And sometimes I debate, like, should I have told him? And then I've realized, I think it would make me feel better, but it would hurt him.
Yeah.
So, which is very selfish, So
Yeah.
I decided not to. Yeah. But yeah, social media, that's what I tell people on the airplane or wherever I meet. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm into the social media marketing or the bank.
That's
Yeah.
that's so funny. I actually tell them I'm in porn and I just want to watch their face
Oh
because I
yeah.
love the shock factor.
I
That's like
love chocolate. I used to when I was younger. Yeah, I love that. Now I'm just like, oh, I don't even want to get into it. So I just say,
I know, but it's so funny because most of them just go, "Oh." Okay, and they go right back to their book, and I'm like, "Yes, I don't have to talk to this person
Yes,
for the entire trip."
yes. I love it. No, but we should be loud and proud, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I'm all about the shock factor, so
So I love shock
kind of
value.
fun. I love making people uncomfortable.
Me too. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yes, I love that too.
So, fun, fun, fun. So tell me, you're mostly focused on OnlyFans. Have you expanded to other fan sites, or do you have all your content? Do you have clip sites? How are
No,
you getting your content out?
I do like loyal fans, but I don't go on there as much. I'll have to say I kind of neglect it. I need to get more on it because
Mhm.
I'll scroll and I'm like, oh shit, I have a fan that hit me up in December, you know, and it's like, you know, because it's very hard to
Right,
juggle. I'm not gonna lie, it's very
right.
hard to juggle OnlyFans and loyal fans and Sex Panther and all.
Mhm.
And I want to be attentive to everyone because everyone. I'm just so glad that they're there, and I'm honored that they want to
Right.
talk to me because there's a gazillion people out there to talk to, and they chose to be on my site. So
I know.
I'm very appreciative, but at the same time, I'm spread so thinly that it's very
Mhm.
difficult.
Do you have an assistant that helps you, like, edit your content, or do you do all that?
No, I do not. I do have an assistant that edits
Mhm.
my content, my cameraman. Yeah.
That's awesome. Boy, that is the huge editing is where I just get hung up. Like, it takes me forever.
Yeah.
I think I'm in editing hell, like, every single day between a podcast content, you know?
Yes, I get it. Well, I know some people that I can exchange some info later.
Well, there you go. That's what I love about having all my guests. I've gotten the best leads on things
Yeah,
from having all my guests on.
right. But you know what? I love working together and working with one another. You know, like this, I'll help you out. Like I'll give you a good referral. You give me one. You know, and it's just helping others is like what life's about.
It is. What's a productivity hack? How do you get it all done? Do you have a schedule every day that you follow, Ava?
Well, I used to really try and like shoot. I did like first of all, I was all over the place because that's just
Mhm.
a space cadet and a wackadoodle. So I'm always like, all right, I'll do everything. And the thing is, because I'm like 49, it's like my memory is kind of shot. So it's like if I have to do something, yeah.
Yes.
And I'll have to say, I abused a lot of drugs when I was younger, but when I think of something, I have to do it right then and there.
Mhm.
I'm like very multitasking and all over the
Mhm.
place. So
Mhm.
I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this isn't conducive to my energy or my health
Right.
because I'm like running myself ragged. I'm like running around like a chicken with its head cut off. So I figured, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, I'll shoot content. And the rest of the days, I'll do stuff, you know, like,
Mhm.
focus on other things.
Right.
Yeah. But
Editing, uploading, all that time-consuming
yeah,
stuff.
I'll just shoot it and then give it to my cameraman, the content
Mhm.
and all that. And
Perfect,
yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a huge help. I hope to retire my partner by the end of summer, and then he can take over all the editing and uploading.
oh, good.
Or hire an assistant, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, help is always greatly appreciated. So,
Absolutely. So looking back over your career, I always like to ask the one-off questions. What would you say was your biggest failure? And what did you learn from it? Tell me
wow.
about a time where something didn't work out.
Well, let's see. Okay, there's a few things. First, I was kind of antisocial, believe it or not. I'm such an extrovert and exhibitionist, but for some reason, I get very shy in social
Mhm.
settings. So I never really attended the parties and award shows and stuff like that. So I feel like I didn't connect on many levels with many producers or people in AVN or whatever. You know, like I
Mhm.
kind of stayed to myself and like
Mhm.
I was in fear of going out and being in social settings, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I feel that was a regret that I wish I would have done differently. I wish I would have been more outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
But I will have to say part of it was I was in heavy addiction, drug addiction.
Gotcha.
So it's hard to go out, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for me, because when I partied, I like to party all day, every day. And, then I can't sleep for days because I like to
Right.
math. So I wasn't very responsible.
Mhm.
But being sober, now that I'm clean and sober, which I got in 16 years ago. I got clean and sober
Wow.
16 years ago. Yeah, thank God.
Congratulations. That's huge.
Yeah. So then my ability to be social was much better, but I still wasn't. I don't know.
Mhm.
I didn't like to attend the parties because of the
Mhm.
drinking and drugs too.
Right.
Or
Right.
so it was like when I was in active addiction, I didn't want to go out because I like to isolate. Then I
Yeah.
got sober and I was too scared to be around drinking and drugs or
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
So I kind of missed out on meeting a lot of people and
Mhm.
just socializing. I missed out on that. So I regret that. And then I regret I hate saying I have regrets though, because I feel like I do these things and for some reason there's a higher plan,
Right.
like
Absolutely.
there's a bigger
Absolutely.
picture why this is going on. So I do regret, if I have to say that word, I do feel that I shouldn't have reduced my breasts back in 2004
Oh.
because I didn't understand that first of all, I love plastic surgery. I'm very
Me
plastic,
too.
yeah, pro plastic surgery, but I reduced my breasts for the wrong reasons. I thought I got greedy and I thought
Okay.
being smaller breasted I would be more mainstream, like
Okay.
more roles, but I didn't understand that there's such a niche for big knockers that I had,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it kind of messed my skin and tissue up.
Oh, got
So,
you.
so I had physical consequences when I
Okay.
decided to go smaller. Yeah.
Okay. And then have you increased that size since then?
Yes.
Or are you the smaller size still?
No, I've increased, but I've had many complications,
Mm.
many many surgeries trying to fix what I've lost.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
yeah, and it's been very difficult because there's so many things. My
Yeah.
skin was ruined for making them smaller.
Gotcha.
Then then I was like, you know what, F this, I want to go back bigger.
Mhm.
It's like changing my hair color. You burn it off, when you try and change so many different colors.
Right, right.
So when I was trying to go back to bigger, smaller, I kept
Mhm.
ruining my tissue and there's scar tissue
Yeah.
infections and all that craziness. And I just been having complications ever since. So, I mean,
That's so sad.
it hasn't been healthy.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone though, because over the years, since I've been in this industry, I have noted a few creators, female creators that have had issues with changing out or
Yeah,
healing and that kind of
yeah,
thing. So you're
yeah.
not alone.
No, and I thought I was, but in
Yeah.
2005, 6, 7, I kind of
Mhm.
was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that more people are coming out or conversing that I'm getting in
Mhm.
touch with, we're all trading stories, and it's
Right.
very
Right.
because yeah, being alone is very scary.
Absolutely. I'm very pro plastic surgery myself and have had quite a few procedures.
Well, you're gorgeous, honey. So keep it up.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, I don't call them regrets either because we wouldn't be who we are today without any of those failures. And
Yes.
it's just lessons that we learned.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
I,
So yeah, those are exactly. I try and look at it as a lesson.
yes, absolutely. Well, which brings me, I mean, you are stunning. Do you have a specific, I always like to ask my ladies,
Yeah.
do you have a specific skincare routine? Tell us what you're doing to look so young and youthful.
Well, no, I don't actually. That it's hilarious. I was just thinking about this the other day. I mean, this morning. You're gonna laugh. Okay, so I I washed my face with Cetaphil. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like set for sensitive skin. And then you're going to totally laugh. And whoever's listening that's our age category will totally laugh. But I use the oil of Olay, the pink stuff, yeah. In
Do you
the pink liquid stuff, yeah.
I absolutely get it. And I have had many ladies on here who are like, "Oh, I wash my face with soap and then I was actually a guest on a podcast this week and they asked me about my skincare routine. And I'm like, Target, the L'Oreal line. I mean, nothing, I'm not spending thousands on anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried, and don't get me wrong, I will, but
Yeah.
for right
Right.
now, yeah. But I honestly feel it's the way you eat and sleep and
Hmm.
take care of yourself, Because I
Yep.
remember when I was partying hard years ago, my skin, I mean, I looked like, I remember my friends saw me and they're like, wow, you look so much older. And now, yeah. And because I didn't sleep, I was doing meth,
Right.
I was drinking, all that, So
Yeah.
my, I wasn't being healthy, but now today it's like I sleep early at a decent
Hmm.
hour, I wake up early. I'm at the gym. I love food and water. And, it's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
yeah.
And sunscreen is your best friend,
Yes. I mean, don't get me
especially in Vegas.
I don't. I love the sun. I do. I'm a sun worshiper. But yeah, I do sunscreen the face. Yeah. And the
That's
decollete.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, what do you have going? Any big projects? Any studio work coming up, Ava? You got anything in the works for us?
I have a few scenes booked that I'm going to shoot. And, like it's just all my production, my very own. So it's like my
Hmm.
baby. So I love it. And it's like I get to come up with the creative scenes. I
Hmm.
get to pick who I want to shoot with. I get to pick the cameraman, the makeup artist, it's the time. It doesn't have to be at 8 in the morning, it could be
Right.
whatever. Yeah. That's the only thing that's going on. It's just trying to
Hmm.
come up with creative scenes and scenarios and people that would, want to work with me and
Right.
fit the mold. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have a studio or have you converted like an area in your home to a studio? Where do
We
you shoot at?
I shoot at my house, or
Hmm.
sometimes, in Vegas, you can rent out homes or
Right.
studios and stuff. Yeah. But some studios are very PG. They're not
Hmm.
sex friendly. So like they don't like nudity. So I try
Right.
and do people's homes or my own home.
Right. Right.
I made my house into kind of like a shooting in every room. But yeah.
So have I. It's like behind me is like the cam space.
I
My
love it. Yeah.
my second master is got all the backdrops for photography. So yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah.
like when
But
the
that,
grandkids come to visit, I've got to go pick up all the ring lights downstairs and bring them upstairs and hide them.
yeah, that's when my niece comes, I got to hide all the dildos and lube. And yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that is funny. Every time they come, it's like I say to my partner, ring lights. We have to move them out of the living space.
Right. Because who knows? I mean, I don't think they'll catch on, but they'll probably
No.
smash it or
Or
grab it or,
yeah, yeah. Or, just it's blatantly they're
yeah,
very young, little babies, but their parents will probably think,
catch on. Yeah.
yeah, they know what we do, but yeah, it's like I don't want to put it in their face, let's not.
Very true. The same. Yeah. I mean, I like to respect others, and
Mhm.
because because I'm not trying to force my
Right.
lifestyle down anyone's throat.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
If you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self or even your 29-year-old self when you got in the business, what would you tell yourself knowing what you know now?
You know what? I honestly don't think I would tell myself anything because like we said earlier,
Mhm.
created this person who I am today. And it's like,
Mhm.
I'm kind of rebellious. So if you tell me to restrict something, I'll do the opposite. Or, or I get inhibited and I get paranoid and like self
Mhm.
conscious. And I don't want my younger self, my career was based on being uninhibited and being
Mhm.
so wild that I wouldn't want to try and hold that back. But
Mhm.
I would tell myself that to love myself and be in acceptance of who I am and how my body was, because back in 2003, that era, 2003 to
Mhm.
2008, 10 maybe, like skinny was in,
Right.
and I was never a skinny girl. I mean, even on meth,
Me
even,
either.
I always struggled with being
Mhm.
skinny. So I feel that that was a hard time for me,
Mhm.
being, accepting myself in my body because I was very curvy and thick,
Mhm.
and it wasn't accepted really. I mean,
Right.
it just wasn't, yeah, it wasn't accepted, I'm going to have to say.
Right. It wasn't mainstream for sure.
No, no, yeah, like it was categorized as like, it wasn't a good thing to be thick and curvy back then.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience.
Mhm.
But so I would just say love myself and appreciate my health, my body.
Mm. That's a good one. That's a good one. And I think you're right. The evolution of embracing our bodies and who we are is that's what I love about this industry. When I got into this industry, over 3 years ago, I was like, I don't know, am I going to fit in? Where am I going to fit in? But then when I saw all these beautiful, big beautiful women,
Different shapes and
curves, I was like, oh, I'm home. I'm home.
yes, yes. And I was in the industry when it was like the Pamela Anderson iconic
Mhm.
look, like that thin blonde. That was, yeah, it was very hard. But nowadays, what a blessing
I love it.
to have hips and a tummy roll, or to have thighs or a big
Mhm.
butt. It's like now it's like that's what's hot. And I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love how accepting this industry is. And what's refreshing is there is a fan for every single person, niche, fetish. It
Yes.
doesn't matter.
And society as well. It's like it's more
Mhm.
acceptable. And I love not having to starve and try and be
Yeah.
this rail thin thing that I could never be. So it's like
Right.
I'm
Right.
embracing, yeah, I'm like comfortable, like good. I have meat on my bones, and I have hips and thighs, and it's
I
fun.
love that. I love that. What's a piece of advice you'd give to someone just getting into this industry? What do you think is the best piece of advice for them?
Wow. The best advice I would give, I would have to say, would be, let's see. Okay, I have some good advice. Okay.
Cool. I can't wait.
So my advice would be to a girl that's getting in the industry, don't be afraid of the dick. Let the dick be
Oh,
afraid of you. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't say that.
yeah, you can.
Okay, okay.
You can.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
be
tell me
afraid.
more. Tell me more what you mean.
Well, back in the day when I was working for
Mhm,
LA Direct Models, and the younger girls would come in, and I was like kind of like their mom, like
mhm,
telling them how to get into the scene. So
mhm.
I'd tell them, don't run from the dick, run to it. And they were like, really? And I'm like, yeah, don't be afraid of it. Like, just go in and have a good time. And they took that suggestion. I remember one girl from England, she loved it so much. She tatted on her body DP because she had such a good time. Because she was so scared that morning, because Derek would have girls come in from England or wherever.
Right,
And,
right.
we'd stay in the house, or we'd hang
Mhm,
out in the office, and we'd all talk and,
mhm.
get to know them. And they were just all kind. And I guess, sometimes some of them are fearful of
Yeah.
doing porn and being with well endowed guys or whatever.
Mhm.
And I would just say, oh no, honey, just don't run from the dick. Run to it, and
I love it.
be confident, have fun.
Yeah, and I think when I hear you say that too, it's like be in control of who you are. Don't
Yeah,
let somebody else control you is how I also interpret
intimidate
it.
you, or intimidate you, because that's how can you have fun when you're intimidated. So it's
And
like,
I think that statement could even be correlated to something you said earlier about, now that you do OnlyFans, you're more in control of your work,
yes,
where it's seen and how much it's sold for. And so I love that
yes,
quote.
run to it, baby.
That is perfect. Well, as we close out, tell people where they can find you.
Okay, well, I'm all over the place, as I was expressing earlier. I'm on onlyfans.com/AvaDevine. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Sex Panther, TikTok, YouTube, all these fun things. So I'm at theavadevine.com.
Okay, awesome. And I'll link that as well. I have loved getting to know you. Like,
You, Miss Ruby. I had so much fun.
I think our energy levels are similar. So
I know. So, and hit me up when you're in Vegas.
I will put that on my list. That would be fun. I would love that. So thank you again for coming on the show. And I can't wait to see what else you have in store.
I know. And thank you for everyone for listening.
Talk to you soon.
All right, you got it. Thank you.